If you are a new seller on Etsy with print on demand and you are not seeing the sales momentum in your shop that you had hoped, it can be extremely frustrating. What can be even more frustrating is if you've been at it a while and you've put a lot of effort into lots of listings and you're still not seeing the results you expected. The good news is there's still hope. I originally started on Etsy back in 2017 with my handmade business and then leaped into print on demand in 2022 and reached over 6 figures in revenue in just 10 months. I reviewed hundreds of shops over the years, and over 100 of which are specifically built around print on demand, and across all of these reviews, there's almost always some key mistakes that I see that are holding sellers back. So for today's video, I want to talk about the 4 critical mistakes that create the biggest barriers to sales, break each of them down for you, and give you specific solutions on how to fix them. In case we haven't met yet, my name is Mandy, and as the owner of multiple 6-figure businesses, including Etsy print-on-demand shops, my goal is to provide you with strategies to simplify the journey and scale your business faster so that you can stop the overwhelm, start making progress, and thrive with your print-on-demand business. Before we dive in, I'm going to give you a little dose of reality and tough love to level set your expectations. If you are a new shop, it naturally takes some time for you to start getting some traction and for Etsy's algorithm to really understand your shop, what you're selling, whether you're legitimate, who your listings apply to, and more. If you have never run an e-commerce business or been on Etsy before or designed graphics for products before, the learning curve can be even steeper before you find success. Do not expect your designs or skill levels to be stellar in the beginning. It won't be, and that's okay. Everybody has a day one. The same applies if you've gone out and simply made 1,000 listings based on all of the shiny products from YouTube videos, but have only done the bare minimum around the research or design process. Just like a beginner athlete is not entitled to win a race against an Olympic athlete who has trained and done the work, a new Etsy seller is not entitled to sales when they haven't built and refined their knowledge and skill level to compete with their peers in the marketplace. Now, the good news is you can still absolutely become the Olympic athlete of Etsy selling. And we're not talking in years here. I try to share tips and tricks to help shorten the learning curve for you all and get you there faster. And the masterclass course that I have on my channel is really intended to give you that strong foundation. And I have a membership space where I share resources and templates. But the point is, becoming an expert on anything takes time and practice and skill building. So with that, let's dive into 4 critical mistakes where you have the biggest opportunity for ultimately fixing and improving your shop. Mistake number 1. You're guessing instead of researching and understanding customer demand. As I alluded to earlier, perhaps you've made a ton of listings based on what you think you know, or you're not sure why your listings aren't performing, so you chase the latest shiny object or trend and just keep listing without any sort of strategy or direction or understanding of why other shops are getting sales. Stop. Listing for the sake of listing is not a strategy. Pulling a bunch of designs you like from Creative Fabrica or Canva and not making any real changes to them is not a strategy. Creating something just because you think it's cute is not a strategy. The problem with this is that you're designing based on you and not your customer or market demand. Because no matter how many listings you make, if there is no demand for what you are selling, there are no sales. Let me say that again. No demand equals no sales. So the solution for that then is you need to stop guessing and start making data-driven decisions. That means looking at your own shop stats, leveraging tools like Everbee to see top-selling products, and using tools like eRank to explore niches and sub-niches and keywords that are ultimately going to get your listings in front of the right searches and the right customers. To validate niches, I typically use eRank to start my search broadly within various categories like hobbies and occupations or things that people are passionate about like awareness or faith. For this, you can easily start with what you know. Think of hobbies you or your friends like, think of occupations you or your neighbors might have, or things that you and people like you are passionate about. This is about finding specific identities related to customers and then looking for pockets of opportunity where there is search volume and demand, but lower competition. You can also use clues and data within your own shop to get a better sense of what's working or not. If your shop isn't getting any views, that tells me that your shop isn't showing up in searches. We'll take a deeper dive on this later in the video. If your shop is getting views, but your listings aren't getting any visits or favorites, that means that shoppers are seeing your listings, but they're scrolling right on by, meaning they're just not that interested enough to click into them. Work on your designs and your mockups. If your listings are getting visits and favorites but no sales, this can often be one of the most frustrating scenarios because there's not always a clear reason as to why this is happening. So this is where you start to experiment. Change up your pricing strategy, or offer the same design but on a different product. If some of your listings are getting sales but others aren't, prioritize your time around creating more of those types of designs and niches that are working and actively selling, and use that information to create more like them. This is all data that you can use to your advantage to understand where your pain points are and also where you have opportunities to continue making more of what's working. Mistake number 2. Your designs are not creating a connection to your customers. The problem with this is typically your designs aren't appealing to the buyers. This could be due to a variety of factors. Sometimes they're too generic, sometimes they're poorly constructed, sometimes it's simply an image from Creative Fabrica or Canva and no changes or very few changes have been made to the design, so it looks the same as 500 other people who did the same thing and you have not differentiated yourself in the market. The solution, first of all, rest assured that most people go through this. It's part of your evolution as a designer and a shop owner. You have to research the marketplace, practice, fail a few times, practice some more, and start to train your mind to spot and create designs that sell. How do you do this? As we talked about in one of my previous videos, you don't even need a tool for this. Simply spend some time on Etsy, scrolling from an incognito window, clicking into listings on the first couple pages of your searches, and looking for those little red magical words that say in 20 plus carts or in demand and purchased 5 times in the last 24 hours. Then apply the data and the niche research that I mentioned earlier to make sure your designs get in front of the right customers within searches. Remember, numbers only get you so far. Part of the art behind research and trend spotting and then turning that into the designs that sell is the visual experience. Being able to make good designs is visual, and by allowing your brain a chance to simply act like a sponge and absorb what it sees, the colors, the styles, the fonts, the placement, the mock-ups, all of it are things that over time your brain will just start to instinctively piece together. And this is how your designing improves over time. And this is how you start creating winning designs that sell. If you want to see this process in real time, I've linked my recent video on designing like a top seller in the description. Mistake number 3. Your mockups look like this, or sometimes they look like this. Problem here is that you're spending all of your time doing this research and making these designs, but then you're putting them on mockups that are not complementing your design and attracting buyers. Point is, they're not doing your listing any sort of favors. As a marketplace, Etsy is incredibly visual, and as customers are scrolling, you typically only get one chance to create a connection and stop the scroll. This means that it's worth it to invest in some good mockups that are aesthetically pleasing and will accurately reflect what a product will look like when a customer receives it. 2 bonus tips here. Number 1, make sure you have a listing video along with your mockups in your listing. This creates movement with your listing as shoppers are scrolling, so it's more likely then for your listing to catch their attention. And bonus number 2 with this, link your mockup photos to your variations in your listing. Customers are much more likely to buy your product when they can see what it's going to look like on the different product options. This also reduces disappointment from customers who make a color selection that isn't reflected in a listing photo. I see this happen all the time, particularly with apparel when there's only a color chart and no actual listing photos that reflect all of the color variations that are available. This is also why I will always recommend that you list only the number of color options that you can fit within your listing photos. I also want to make a note here on AI mockups. Unless an AI mockup creator is really good at their prompts, most of these mockups created with AI, particularly for apparel, have problems. Between extra fingers on a hand, weird neck angles, or product colors that are just entirely wrong, these can create a host of problems for you. The AI mockups that I typically see in shops might even look pretty decent, but the reality is that when a customer clicks on them, they appear very airbrushed, and the fit and the color of the product itself can be a bit off. This can result in negative customer reviews because what they're seeing in the mockup is not what they are getting in person. If you don't believe me, look at bestseller products, not mockups, products. As we scroll through these, you'll notice none of these have AI mockups. Success leaves clues. Are you paying attention to them? And mistake number 4, you are describing the phrase or design that's on your products in your title and tags instead of targeting who is actually going to be buying it and how they might be searching for it. The problem with this is that the algorithm is not getting your listing in front of the right customer. Remember when I mentioned earlier that one of your shop symptoms might be low views? This is your SEO speaking, your search engine optimization, or in this case, perhaps your lack thereof. Your title is your most important part of your SEO strategy, followed closely by your tags. Let's take this shirt for example. Oftentimes I will see titles for shirts like this that say, life goal, pet all the dogs, dog shirt, gift for her. What's wrong with this as a title? Well, your ultimate goal is for your title to match the search query of customers as closely as possible, as that's one of the key aspects of your ranking in search results within the algorithm. So the biggest problem here is customers aren't typing in life goal, pet all the dogs. So that part's not even going to help us at all. Then we've got dog shirt and gift for her. The problem with these is that on their own, they are going to be far too broad in search terms and will likely result in our listing getting buried behind the competition. So the solution for this then is that your title needs to be constructed with a long tail keyword phrase. This means combining 3 or more keywords in an effort to more closely target your ideal customer's search. My simple brainstorming formula for this is to think of 3 facts about the item, 3 categories of people that it could be for or sold to, and then 3 holidays or occasions that it could be bought or gifted for. You don't have to use all of these in your titles, but it's intended to help you start thinking about the right keywords for constructing a title. Now, if this were my listing, I would do 2 things. As we talked about earlier, we want designs that are going to be speaking to an ideal customer. So instead of just a general dog's shirt, I would change it to a specific breed. Let's go with Pomeranians. Then I'm going to build out my title using short phrases with a combination of what it is, who it's for, and an occasion or holiday it might be gifted for, which is where that earlier brainstorming formula comes into play. So something along the lines of Pomeranian shirt for dog lover, funny dog mom Pomeranian tea, Pom dog owner birthday gift, and new puppy mama t-shirt. Etsy's search function will then take over from there and match my listing for all kinds of different keyword combinations, including dog mom shirt, dog owner gift, and more. The more closely my listing matches the customer search query, the better. I can then also replicate many of these in my tags and add more to get 13. And I want to leverage some of my strongest keywords within the first 1 to 2 sentences in my listing description. The more you incorporate relevant keywords within your titles, tags, description, and even your attributes and sections, the more Etsy will understand what your listing is about and show it to the right people. Remember, the goal is not to be the Olympic athlete of Etsy on day 1. Build yourself a solid foundation of knowledge. Keep learning, keep practicing, and make sure you're correcting mistakes like the ones shared in this video along the way. As you know better, do better. And above all, keep going. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you want to learn more about my strategies for thriving in your print-on-demand business, make sure you've got the notifications turned on for my channel so that you don't miss out on any of my content. And in the meantime, be sure to check out the dedicated playlist with my full print-on-demand masterclass course right here on YouTube, as well as my time blocking series for an even deeper dive on the critical steps for success. Thanks for watching. I'm so glad you're here, and I'll see you on the next one. If you're looking for more ways to continue the journey and stay connected, I'm so excited to invite you to my brand new membership, the Simply Thrive Club. Unlike other programs, this is not a course. In fact, it's not even a program in the traditional sense. And that's because all of the steps that you need to build your print-on-demand business can be obtained for free on my channel through a variety of videos and playlists that I've put together specifically to help you on your journey. My in-depth course is not behind a paywall. So instead, this new membership is all about community with ongoing challenges to drive growth and a support system for accountability to keep going. It's goal setting to maximize your pockets of time and stay organized so that you can thrive even amidst a busy schedule. And it's action taking with expert resources and tools in order to master skills necessary for scaling faster and more efficiently. That is where the magic happens in your print-on-demand journey. Your willingness to clarify your goals, commit with consistency, and adapt your mindset and your approach so that you understand what will work and what won't. This totally new platform is a community that is off of social media and away from spam and distractions, including a community app. I've created over 80 plus professional mockups with more on the way. There are monthly accountability challenges because, did I mention I'm all about consistency? I've included the ability to request quarterly comprehensive shop audits and live group calls each month where we can talk about all things print on demand, time blocking, setting realistic goals, finding process efficiencies, and so much more. Be sure to check it out, and in the meantime, keep going, keep learning, and keep growing on your print on demand journey.